Hello everyone, today we are back, you guys know the drill. GVG tier list of the August skill update. Today we're gonna review the Elementalist changes. Um, I'm pretty excited about that one because I think it's the one I've read the least so far. I've seen here and there skills that have changed, but I haven't. I'm trying to be as real as possible in reviewing the update in the videos I do. So I try to read as less as possible. So I haven't read many of the early changes, so you're gonna get my raw opinion on what do I think about it. And let's go. Let's go into it. So we're gonna look at the text they've added with it. I think this I think it's a little bit too AI generated for my liking, but we're gonna read it anyway. Mainly looking to bring water attribute up in this update, so this is a water attribute oriented update. Several skill adjustments, cheaper, faster. On the air, they're saying that a few of their adjustments in June were a bit too rough, so they are readjusting stuff. Couple adjustment on the energy management skills. PV only skill for now. And version is to determine whether. Okay, so for the PV skill, they're adding it to PvE. They want to see how it goes, and then maybe they will add it to PvP. Pretty big statement, to be honest. Interesting that they're willing to add new skills. We'll see how that goes. Blah blah blah, something something. Let's go into it. Aftershock. Adjust both damage amounts from 26, 10, 10, 68 respectively to 1585. Reduces the unconditional damage, increases conditional knockdown damage, increases overall damage. The way it's phrased kinda makes me confused. I don't know how much percentage more damage it is on a knockdown target, but what they're saying is if the target is not knocked down, it's gonna do less damage, but if it is knocked down, it's gonna do more. So very conditional skill. Pretty niche skill if you ask me. Was only played in really couple builds. Um, I don't know what to think of that change. I don't know what to rate the skill. Still the same energy, still the same everything. 10, 10, 3/4. Still the same skill, it's just a little bit more damage when knocked down. Um, I'll probably put it to B. Really conditional skill, really situational. They're buffing all conjures from 45 to 30 recharge. What this means is if you were to bring a conjure on a usually you bring these on melee characters, if you get stripped from it, you get it sooner. You get it back sooner, which feels less bad when you get insta strip the conjure you just put up. Good change. I mean, I read this as a good change to be honest. Um, Clearly not OP in any way. It's just a little bit more quality of life in a way. Not really quality of life, but it just feels less worse to get stripped basically. So it's okay. I mean, yeah, okay, sure. Elemental attunements. Change energy refund to you gain 1 energy plus 50% of the base costs. The problem is when they do that, they don't tell you what it was. It just makes the thing harder to read. So what I'm gonna do is I'm opening something on the side that should fix my problem. I'm gonna read how it was before. Um, so it's probably still affects every magic. You probably still get the attributes more, but before it was you gain 50 energy 50% of the base energy cost of the skill each time you use magic associated with any of these elements. Oh, so now you get 1 energy on top of that. Feels like they could have just summarized it to that. We're adding +1 energy every time you cast a skill with that, while maintaining that enchantment, while having that enchantment. I guess it's what the change is, unless I'm reading incorrectly. So it's stronger. That skill was already decent, to be honest. Is it amazing? I mean, it really makes it really stronger. 1 energy is yeah, 1 energy is pretty serious, to be honest. More love to Elementalist energy. Um, I'm tempted to put it in A tier. I think it's a little bit of a stretch. It's still an elite that gives you energy, where in a class where elites are important to do damage. So I will leave it to B. But some niche build will be happy about that. Icy Prism. Reduce energy cost from 10 to 5. The target foe is struck with like 70 damage-ish. If the target foe has a water magic X, Icy Prism deals damage to nearby foes. They made it from 10 to 5. That's a great buff. Sorry, I didn't rate these. I forgot to put these boys. Um, I like that change because nobody would bring it, and now maybe people will bring it. How good is it? Probably not amazing, but playable. Um, Playable. I mean, yeah, playable. Not amazing, but playable. Lightning Orb. I guess PvE. No, I guess this is both, right? It's like Lightning Orb is now. Wait, that's the same. Yeah, okay. I guess they could have made this a one-liner. Lightning Orb is 15 to 10 mana. Ooh, I like that change. Lightning Orb. No one sane would bring Lightning Orb recently. 10 energy. Would people bring it? I don't know, but you could think about it though. Um, I'm gonna put it to C, and maybe I happen to be wrong, and it's B. But I still think it's a rough skill to play. But 10 energy now makes it serious. Um, Big damage. It's great, great change. It's like not too big of a, not too OP, not too insignificant. So I like the change. Lightning Strike. Increase damage from 540 to 1060. Increase overcast conditional damage from 540 to 2040. Huh. I am a bit confused with that one. So they're making... Sorry, I was sneezing. Um, they're making it do much more damage on the first tick, and then they're also making it do more damage on the second tick, only if you have low attributes. So this is a... You want to play this more if you're hybrid kind of buff. But if you're not hybrid, it doesn't change anything on that part. But on that part, you do more damage. So it's overall a buff. I mean, it's a big buff, obviously, and then it's a like off class, not off class, but off magic buff as well, or jack of all trade kind of buff. I mean, Lightning Strike is A tier. It's always A tier. No matter what you do, you could even say S tier. Lightning Surge decrease energy cost from 15 to 10, so they're reverting the change they did last update, which was a really bad change and killed the skill. So they're bringing it back to life. and they're adding cracked armor before damage. So they're making. Look at this. Just look at this, okay? They go from, this skill is OP. We're gonna put this energy 10 to 15. 2 months after, or 1 month after, I don't remember. They're like, we were wrong. That skill wasn't OP. We're gonna give it back to 10 energy. But we're also gonna buff it at the same time. If you look at it logically speaking, it does not make any sense. Why did from 1 month to the other do you think the skill is OP to the skill is in its original form was too bad? It's missing it's missing logic there. What is going on? When I see this, I'm a bit worried, you know. I'm a bit worried that who is making these balance changes? I know for a fact this was proposed from the community, and I don't really dislike the change per se, but from we're gonna kill the skill to we're gonna revive it back to what it was in better, it's lacking a lot of sense. What are we doing? Doesn't make any sense. This is worrying. I am worried. When I see things like this, I'm seriously worried. The skill itself, it's at least A tier. It could be S tier. Um, I think that part makes it really a S tier contender, but I don't think it's a S tier skill. I think it's a great skill, of course. It will be played. This skill will be played. Um, Lightning Touch, reduce recharge from 10 to 5. Okay, so first of all, I'm gonna tell you what I think of the skill as is. I think I'm gonna put it to S tier. And now I'm gonna talk, if you let me, I'm gonna talk about what I think of the change. What do I think of the change? I'm gonna respond that question with another question. Why? Why? Why would you do that? The skill is a top contender in the most meta Ellie of the last 5 years. That, don't get me wrong, was killed last patch, and I'm talking about Gust. But that skill was really played against in Gust bars, and that skill, okay, it found its perfect place in a Gust bar, but if you take it outside of the Gust meta, that skill is good. That if you look at that skill on its own, it's a good skill. Good enough that it probably doesn't need a buff. Maybe you want to give it a little bit more love? Okay, put the recharge to 8, maybe to 7, to 5? Why? That's too good. No. Why? That's a bad change. You're lucky I'm ranking these changes by how good the skills are, because I would have put that to D or meme if I was ranking them by how good do I think the change is. I really dislike that change. I think it's way too good, and I think this is bad. Bad, don't do that. Milestorm, reduce energy cost from 25 to 15. Reduce activation time from 2 to 1.5. Reduce recharge from 20 to 30 to 20. So big buff overall, like across the board. Less energy, less casting time, less recharge time. We rarely see buffs like this, to be honest. So it's a really big buff. For those who don't know, Milestorm is you cast that skill at target's foe's location, and what it does is it's like it's raining some spikes, and each of these spikes do damage, pretty low damage if you like pretty low damage, in fact. But each of these spikes interrupt spells. So um, okay, sure, I get giving love to a skill like that. I think what this changes is it's gonna be played in HA probably, I would assume. but in GBG nobody's gonna play that still. So I would rate this skill as a D tier, and I think it's a pointless change in my opinion. If you wanted to bring that skill to the PvP, if you wanted to revive that skill, there's other things to do. Um, I think, yeah, I think there's other things to do than, I mean, from the other things to do that I think of, I think these are still things you should do. What I mean is I don't think it's enough. I don't think it's enough to make this skill playable. Maybe we're gonna see, you know what, I'm gonna put it to meme just for the sake of it. Maybe we're gonna see people cook some builds with it, but I am not a believer at all. Master of Magic. Change energy refund to... Okay, so this is another thing I'm gonna have to read on the side because the update is not clear. Back before the update, what it was doing is all of your elemental attributes are set to 8, 13, 14, and your elemental spells return 30% of their energy costs. Now is and you gain 1 plus 30% of blah blah blah. So it's the same change as elemental attunement. You get 1 more energy every time. I think I like that change. I'm gonna put it with elemental attunement. I could put it to C as well because that skill has never seen play before, so it would already be some cooking to bring it. I'm actually gonna put it to C because I have yet to see people come up with things. I think that skill is interesting. I think there is room to do stuff. I think it does require some cooking though, and uh, and we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see people if people make some builds that actually do work with it. Not a huge believer, but it could happen. Over the limit is the PvE thing, if I'm not mistaken. Ride the lightning. Reduce energy costs from 10, 15 respectively to 5. So let me write what it was before because I wasn't aware of it being. Okay, I get it. Reduce energy costs from 10, 15. So I guess they're talking about the exhaustion costs. Okay. Let me look at one thing. I have to see one thing. Yeah, no. Um, it wasn't 10. It wasn't 10. As far as I know, it wasn't 10 um exhaustion unless the wiki said otherwise because I'm looking at some wiki source I think from the before the patch and it says 515. So I don't know if it was 1015 in fact or if it was already 515, but now it's 5.5. This is how I understand it. It's now 5 exhaustion, 5 energy instead of 10.5, 10.15 or 5.15. I don't know. Anyway, if it's 5.5, I will rate this skill as if it's 5 energy exhaustion and 5 energy. And for those who don't know, ride the lightning. You ride the lightning to target. All adjacent foes are blinded. If your target foe if your target is a foe, it is struck for some damage and you have penetration. Um, okay, sure. I kind of like it, you know. I think it's interesting. I think now it's playable. Um, it kinda you can see the guy that proposed this change clearly has an ID in mind. Um, we'll see. We'll see. Um, it's a good change, I think. I'm looking forward to it. Rusts. Increased damage from 1070 to 1085. So that's a pretty big change to be honest. I do believe Rust was already a good skill. It's just hard to bring an Elementalist water in your team. But I think if you did bring an Elementalist water Elementalist in your team, I think that skill was considered really often. So I think that skill was already good enough. They're making it stronger, more damage. I'm a bit surprised because that's from um, my memory, this was already one of the highest damage skill of Water Ellie. So okay, I'll put that skill to A tier. I think it's a huge skill. I think it was already good, but I think now it actually does respectable damage for Water Ellie. And yeah, I think that skill is really good now. Shatterstone, add move 66 lower and is X'd. So for those who don't know, Shatterstone is a skill that does a lot of damage. So you X the target, it does whatever cold damage is written there. You also move slower now while you have that X. Before that wasn't the case. And your X for 3 seconds. So your X for 3 seconds, you move slower for 3 seconds. And when the Shatterstone ends, you take the same damage that you took at the beginning of the skill. So a huge buff, a huge buff. I was already a Shatterstone enjoyer myself. I made a lot of builds with it because I think it's if you want to bring a water really that does damage, I think you didn't really have an option to bring that skill. I think adding slow to it is oh is I was gonna say it's yeah it's really strong. Yep. Yeah. It's really strong. A tier for now. Obviously, it cannot be S tier, but really strong skill now. Uh, Soul. Okay, no, Soul Ignition. Sorry, was the PV. That's not PV. Over the limit. What the fuck is that? While you maintain dissension, your spell cast faster and recharge faster. Oh no, that's a PV skill. Okay, I wasn't wrong. So there's two PV skills in that list. I wasn't crazy. Steam. Add and they take an additional fire damage to the on fire condition. So, Steam, you do cold damage. If the target was on fire, you would blind it for quite a bit of time, and now you're also doing damage to it. So this is like the Tenai's Wind of Air Elise, but in water version. Um, that skill does a lot of damage and it blinds. It's a conditional blind. I mean, the damage, half of the damage is conditional, and the blind is conditional, but it's not so hard to meet. And it's a 5 energy, 8 cooldown, 1 second cast skill. That's a really strong skill. Um, yeah, that's a really strong skill. Yeah, I'll put it to S tier for now because I don't think it's hard to make it work, and I think if you make it work, then you have a damage blind. It's like, which doesn't make sense, right? Because when you yeah, I mean, it's the same as the water philosophy, right? If you're gonna snare people, you shouldn't do as much damage as you do if you're striking them with lightning, right? Or if you're burning them. Um, so I think that skill is overtuned. I don't know why they made it that strong. Um, yep, that skill needs to be tuned down a little. It's a bit too strong right now. Ward against arm, reduce recharge from 30 to 20. Ward against arm is basically you get health regen and you get a lot of armor, and you get a lot more armor against elemental damage. Um, this was pretty hard to play because you could not chain it. You could like have it half of the time basically, and now you can have it more like 75% of the time if you don't count fast recasts. If you do count fast recast, I would uh, I would guess that you have it more closer to 90% of the time on average, maybe 85, 90. So interesting change. Really defensive skill though. Really hard to bring in a team. You really have to have an ID in the team build if you're gonna bring this skill. But if you would have an ID like that, that skill would be an actual skill. I'm gonna put it to C because um, I mean if I look at the skill itself, it's probably B, but it's just that I think it's way too niche and weird. Um, the skill per se is good, but some skills are good, but you would never bring them. So I'll I'll put it to C. I'll put it to C, but I explained myself on that. Um, that's it for the Ellie update. What do I think about it? Um, the Ellies are eating good this patch. I do believe they needed a little bit of love. I'm not sure that's the love that they needed though. Some really questionable changes, especially on the S tier, and the S tier. Some weird changes that are you're like okay, but probably won't matter. Um, but it is what it is. It's okay overall. That's it for me. Thanks for watching the video. Follow the channel, leave a comment, do all this, and we'll see each other for the next video, which we're gonna talk about mesmers. See you.